Good afternoon, Tim Gileo. Now you know the rest of the story. She's Saturday, the 28th of September, 2019. Election in Canada is coming soon. Hopefully, Red October's coming, and I mean red. Let's hope Trump paints are red. Anybody catch the Trump speech at the UN? We'll have an idea what I'm talking about. Today I decided we better send a letter off to CAP. I generally send it on Friday, but I was a little late. Any locals know what happened to that? On Friday, Thursday night, I found out somebody had gone after my mother with a baseball bat. She's 78 years old because they didn't like her expressing her freedom of information. Well, there's enough people, and this is kind of a dangerous community for somebody to do that. She's a well-known person. She nursed her till she was 74 years of age. Retirement was 65. She nursed till 74 years of age. She was a palliative care nurse, home care nurse, who looked after about 85% of the families in this community when they were going through the grieving process and the death process with one of the relatives when they died at home. So she's well known, well liked. So the word's out. Whoever this person is, I don't know. She's not going to tell me. She's afraid that I might accidentally make him slip on his baseball bat without any lubrication. So we don't want to see that happen. So on top of that. So I kind of postponed it yesterday. I was in a bit of a bad mood. So today I figured I'd lighten it up a little bit. I mean, the oil and gas industry, no matter how many times, every Friday we give them a note. Do they care? Some of them do, some of them don't. I mean, they'd made a promise a little while ago. They come on, they're bragging. I call that a promise. They made a video through a couple of them. And, there was supposed to be some more follow-ups and some more articles. And I haven't heard a whole lot. I don't know if you guys have heard something, let me know. One in the comments, because I haven't heard a whole bunch. So Kenny came out on the 24th. That's Premier Kenny in Alberta. He didn't pull any punches. It basically said if Trudeau wins, that Alberta's basically the best thing for that is separate. Alberta separates. That's Western Canada separation. How that plays out here in BC with the Lower Mainland, I'm not too sure. We might have to isolate the Lower Mainland and use them for a sandy dump for the rest of the country. Well, they already do that in the ocean, so I guess it's not much of a big deal. So we went to the oil and gas industry. I said, there's got to be something we can do. I decided, we've done this over and over again. We're in relationship to our, to the safety when it comes to pressure testing, which we've, the regulatory compliance and, real-time monitoring of pressure testing, so that the various avenues for pipeline leaks and drilling rig incidents, all these things can be severely reduced, right, by taking away the opportunity for people to speed up the process, or for the pressures of two competing billion-dollar companies against some poor little guy sitting there with 2 cents to rub together. So it's got to have the 2 cents to rub together. He's got to be the moral, ethical guy with all the integrity 100% of the time. It's a hard thing to do when people are threatening your livelihood. We've discussed that on many videos. So again, I want to keep it a little more on the light side, so I come up with an idea. I said, yesterday's video, we talked about the government responding late. Now, when we went to do our, went to exercise our right to collect from the government, they exercised a governmental right, which says we can do whatever we want whenever the hell we feel like, and you can go pound sand. So they pulled the jurisdictional. They tried to pull jurisdiction. Unfortunately, their jurisdiction was wrong. Right? They cited the 1985 law that had been replaced in 1992. Now, did he do it on purpose? Absolutely did it on purpose. I mean, the guy's getting told to do something. Does he want to do it? Probably not. I mean, he responded. He responded way late. 6 weeks late for responding. So, I mean, he's already lost the case. At least they've already defaulted. But here they are now responding. So, I mean, again, as we showed how abdication and collusion and corruption, abdication and obfuscation works. Now, the Attorney General himself, Lametti, along with Trudeau, I'm going to call him a criminal right now. Right here, live, folks, they're criminals, right? So this criminal, this corrupt piece of crap who teaches at McGill, used to teach at McGill University, if you let that prick back in, you're an idiot, right? Because he's going to lose. So that piece of crap, right, turns around and puts pressure on this poor guy, this Paletti guy, right? Hey, Mr. Paletti, you do this or else, right? I mean, we know it for sure, but we know how it works, right? This is the system. It's how it works. So Paletti right? All of a sudden, damn, we're gonna get a judgment, right? Well, he's gonna use that during the campaign, right? You cannot use this during campaign. Anyhow, just playing on my accent. How do you like it? So he turned around. Next thing you know, I got the crown. I'm sitting at the clerk's desk. We've gone over this. The clerk can't even bother filling out the paperwork. He's running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to figure out what the hell he's going to do with a 6'5", 300-pound monster standing in front of him. He's saying, "Go screw yourself," right? You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. And I said, "Oh!" Last second. Oh, look, they just responded. Well, that's nice, right? Their response was horse shit, as we discovered. But the good news is that they didn't want to do anything, right? And I said, well, you know what? No, not doing anything isn't working for me. So you're not a judge. Take it to the judge. Let the judge decide. So the judge has decided. Now we're going to have a settlement conference. Of course, in the settlement conference, we're going to bring up their jurisdictional argument instead of bringing up the points. The jurisdictional argument will probably eliminate their points. I just seen the competition that actually got me back going down on this road. Samara, how you doing, guys? You just passed me on the road. I was doing some sales. So that's where we're kind of at. All we got left to do. So I figured, okay, there's not much we can do about that. Yeah, we'll go to court. We'll fight it. We'll make a stake about it on this. You guys can share this and share the hell out of this. I mean, we got to get rid of these damn criminals we got sitting in Ottawa. So I decided, okay, how do you get rid of the criminals? I mean, right now we're dealing with a two-tiered system already. So why don't we make it a real two-tiered system? Let's say, okay, let's take the one tier for us normal people, all right? Let's take the second tier for them. Instead of them being a privileged tier, let's make it a tier with increased penalties. So Mr. Paletti comes and he has to respond, and he has to defend against the government's case. Mr. Paletti, as he's defending against the government's case, can come and say, we discovered during his defense that he was let's call him a liberal. Well, let's call him progressive. What the hell? Let's say he's progressive, and he wanted to defend against that case. He's happy to do so. And then he's found wanting. The new government comes in. He's found wanting. What should his sentence be? Should it be just fire him? No, that's not good enough. I think we need a two-tier system. So the two-tier system is the first-tier system is for us is bankrupt us. So let's bankrupt this man. Let's bankrupt everybody in the crown that worked with this man and every one of the clerks. This man, because he started it, and go all the way back to Lametti, we should hang Lametti. All right? See, that's how a two-tier system should work. You're in a position of power and authority over me. Then, if you're going to break the law, you're going to change the law, you're not going to live up to the law yourself, then your sentence and your penalty should be, I don't know, I like death. I think it's a good idea. What do you think? Let me know in the comments if you think that's a good idea. So I decided, we're going to have more fun. We'll play off that theme. So that was my entertainment today. This is my George Carlin day. So, I mean, I'm not as good as George. I'm not saying I am, but hey, I'm trying. So I decided, okay, let's move that along. So I remember going back when we had during the Second Gulf War, Enduring Freedom. During Freedom, they had a deck of cards, and in that deck of cards, you had people that were the most wanted. So say the Ace of Diamonds or whatever was, the Ace of Spades, whatever was Saddam. Chemical Ali, whatever he was. He's probably a queen. Sounds like a queen name. Anyhow, so as they went down through the deck, they dictated who they were gonna, who they could find just by isolating the deck out. So I figured we should do that for banksters and for the oil patch executives and for all these executives, the bureaucrats and the politicians. We should create decks for all of them. And every time they do something wrong. So in our case, we've identified extreme hazards under the law that the law seems to ignore, the government seems to ignore. So every time somebody gets hurt, let's say somebody gets killed. So what we do is we take that company and we take the corresponding governments, right? Provincial governments, corresponding bureaucrats on the provincial side and the federal side that know about this. And we say, okay, just out of fairness, we should be fair. I mean, you can't kill them all, but some have to pay the price. So I think, how about a little play a game of Russian roulette? Right? So one person dies, soon as somebody dies there, it's over. Right? Go back to your job. If 2 or 3 people die, do it that way. So let's say somebody gets some broken legs, right? we know these are obvious identified hazards that they don't want to fix, right? Okay, well, then we grab the group, put their names in a hat, and whoever's that company's responsible for whatever they do, the same type of stuff. So that was my letter today to Cap. I don't know if they're going to enjoy it much. I mean, I don't know if they're going to get the humor in it, but I get the humor in it. They seem to think the rest of us are just, we're numbers. We don't care. We don't matter, right? We discussed another one where we had a pipeline explosion where guys got busted up, and they're still fighting to try to get the money for these guys. Now they got WCB fighting on their behalf, and they're still trying to get the money from these guys because these companies really don't care, guys. They say, well, they're going broke. Well, you mismanage the shit out of the damn industry, right? I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. Every one of these directors and officers that right now mismanage the crap out of the industry. They did so because they're all parachuted in through the liberals and progressives that were running the damn country, and their job was to kill the industry. Their job was to kill the industry, people. This is the globalist agenda, right? So we were just part of it. The people we allowed in place, or we didn't allow, the people that got put in place, just killed the industry off. Then they raped the country. We already identified how they raped the country. Nobody seemed to care. So I kind of like the idea of making up some of these cards. Let's say a guy gets a bunch of broken bones. Those are easy. Say a guy gets all burnt up. Could you imagine having your name drawn on that one, right? I mean, but fair is fair. We need a two-tiered system, right? So we got our tier, we got their tier. When I deal with their theft of our intellectual property, it annoys me because had they used it right, nobody would have probably cared as much. Because it would have been used properly, people would have been protected. The environment would have been better protected. We would have been more efficient. They would have been looking after the industry. They would have been looking after the people in the industry. They would have been looking after the communities. And the problem is, all these companies have governance boards. The thing is, these governance boards have nothing to do. They call sometimes they're called good governance boards or good governance committees is what they are. So I mean, I've been corrected. There's only one board, and the rest are committees. So we've turned around. We had this. A lot of people think that has to do with being good corporate citizens, right? The first rule of a corporation is to look after the shareholders, not look after the citizens, not look after the workers. And to them, they're doing a good job as long as they're doing that, and therefore their bonuses and their pay packages are designed on how much money they can pay out to the shareholders. All right, so when you got Kenny come along and give that $4.5 billion to them, and they basically said, thanks, now we can pay down some debt and we can give some more money to the shareholders. And then you realize the shareholders are 85-90% foreigners, mainly Americans. So that money goes in the way of dividends. Those dividends are untaxed. Therefore, basically, they just took the money from the citizens and handed it right to the Americans. They might as well walked it across the border and said, here you go. All right? I mean, they've been screwing us already. If you don't feel like your resources have been raped, you got a job every now and again. But most of the time, every time you didn't get a job, everything you earned having that job, you had to pay back into the system. And then generally a lot more than you had to borrow from your family and indebt your family. Most people in this industry had really shitty family lives. Why? Because they're constantly, right, if they are working, they're never home. And if they're not working, there's no money. And we all know what happens with relationships when the money's gone. So I come up with the idea today that, here, we'll create these decks for these guys, put their names on them, and that way we'll all know who they are. I mean, Trump has promised us, or somebody's promised, Q, whatever it is, has promised it at some point, as these, as the deep state and the swamps get drained and people start to identify what really went on, that us as, ourselves, we're not going to allow these individuals to walk down the street. So it's nice if we had a little representation out there already. Maybe put them all on some playing cards. Should we start with the liberals? Or you want to start with the NDP? You want to start with bureaucrats? You want to start with the oil patch? You want to start with the banking industry? Who do you want to start with? Right? You guys put it in the comments. Who do you think we should start with? So I mean, that's a good idea. It's something we can raise more money to do. Right? Hey, there's a crook. Right? I mean, it shouldn't be safe for them to walk down the street. When you start looking after Canada for Canadians, and that's what that's the whole point about Trump's speech. You look after your citizens first, your nation first, nationally first. This globalist crap has got to come to an end, right? We're not a globalist community, right? We're all just a little bit different, right? You start looking after your citizens. You look after the needs of the citizens. When you walk around, you see all these homeless people in the cities, and you see these vets, right? That suffered for for our nation getting nothing, and you see them bringing in and treating immigrants the way they're treating immigrants, that's fine. If I were to be running for office, and I know that that members of the Conservative Party are going to listen to this, everything that happened the last 4 years, I would undo it. I would send everybody home. Now reapply, and we're going to actually vet you, see if you're actually qualified. You know, the conflicts around the world are coming to an end. You know, as Trump is slowly getting rid of them, that's what the whole point of his speech. Globalism is done. He's going after them. I mean, yeah, he has people helping him. And if you don't think Xi Jinping in China is actually helping him, you know, you got rocks in your head. You know, are they playing games in the U.S.? Yeah, they're playing games because they know the FISA's coming out and they're all about to go to jail. So I mean, it's a good time to play games. As far as the rest of it goes, is you know, is Trudeau going to get caught up? I have a funny feeling Trudeau's going to get caught up in this nextivism crap right away, because that's going to come out in October. October 1st, the trial starts. Then you still got the Epstein stuff. He's connected to the pedophiles through Podesta brothers. You know, he's had there's 5 instances of his personal friends and family friends that are pedophiles that have been arrested around the world. So is Trudeau going to get caught in this stuff? Hey, we hope so. But most likely he's going to get caught in something. I mean, the blackface wasn't the end of it. We're going to see a lot more. Right? This man cannot suffer enough embarrassment for how much harm he's caused this country. So all the embarrassment in the world, great to him. You know, I mean, I understand the position a lot of these CEOs are sitting in their oil companies, where, you know, they really don't have a lot of say. They have to, you know, they have to do what they got to do. So, you know, when they get told who to put on their boards, if they want the banks to play ball with them, they got to put them on the boards. Where the bank's from, they're from Bay Street. They're connected to Wall Street. Their investors are primarily on Wall Street. So when you start seeing this stuff coming down, right? I mean, they don't have a lot of say. So I mean, we'll take it a little easier maybe on the CEOs and the people that actually created it. But the ones sitting all the way up through the supply chain, you know what? They have a reckoning coming, right? It's time for a reckoning. Right? It's time to be accountable. You haven't been accountable. You've been hiding like a bunch of flipping cowards, right? So get your head out of your ass, all right? Let's start becoming accountable. Let's stand up and be men or women, don't matter what you are. But it's time to stand up, right? Enough of this crap, right? We have a fairly safe industry. We could have the safest. We could have the most efficient. We could have the most transparent, the most accountable, right? And we can make sure, just like Scheer, you know, just like Scheer for the Conservatives who said, the end of corporate welfare. There's no need for corporate welfare. We make enough damn money. We just got to be efficient about it, right? We waste so much damn money because we're too busy pissing in the wind all the time. So, you know what? Just like my video from last Friday, a week ago Friday, that a lot of that was out there to protect a particular individual in the industry who, as I put out in the video, he was getting, you know, it looked like he was getting set up. So we just kind of give an opportunity, so at least he has some recourse if that's exactly what ends up happening. You guys have a good day. Everybody wants to make these a lot shorter, so I'm trying. See you later. Bye.